Yeah, okay. Thank you very much today for coming to the Greek class. And today is actually, wait a minute. So today is our sixth Greek class. And as I have explained earlier, today we're going to talk about Homer, and to be specific, the Iliad. We're going to read some verses from the Iliad, but most important today, we're going to talk about the background. I mean, you can call it historical background, but I mean, it is not really that historical, but we can we can be pretty sure that we have a historical background of the story Iliad. As I mentioned, as I have suggested that we're going to, and I assume that you already checked the video which I have shared in our group, that you get a basic idea of
the stubborn king offends Achilles, the Greeks' best warrior.
Yeah, you have a basic idea of the story of Iliad, and there are several important persons, important figures in our Iliad story. And so probably we can check it together today. So first, probably we can check the Greek side, or in the Greek text, they are also called the Achaeans, but they are basically the Greeks. Yeah, and the Greeks, it is written like this: Ahaios, or called Danaios or Argives, and so on. And there are several important figures. And the first one is Agamemnon, and he's actually the leader. Check here, he's the leader of the Greeks, and he's the king of Mycenaean. Yeah, he's a Mycenaean king. And then Achilles, of course, we know that the Iliad begins with the wrath or anger of Achilles. And then Odysseus, he also played an important role in Iliad, but not the key figure, because the key figure is Achilles, and Odysseus is actually the key figure of another equally important epic. Okay, and then there are other persons, but we're not going to mention them today. And then another one called Patroclus. He's actually the closest companion, the best friend of Patroclus. And you can actually understand the word friend in the German sense. Okay, and then Nestor. Nestor is, we're going to talk about Nestor. And to be precise, actually Nestor's cup. Yeah. And I have shown you the picture of Nestor's cup earlier. If you forget it, actually you can get it. Wait a minute. So this is the Nestor cup. There are actually different results if you check Nestor's cup, but probably we are going to talk about this one today. Today we are going to talk about this one, this cup. Okay, so this is, let's go back to the names. And then from the Trojan side, they are actually the focus of today's course. First one, Hector. Hector is actually the prince and actually also the leader of the army from the Trojan side. And Aeneas, well, he's actually also famous, but not really the topic today. We're going to read the famous epic by Vergil in our Latin class, Aeneas. And then this one is probably less familiar to some of you, but we're going to talk about him today. He is called Deiphobos, and Deiphobos is actually the brother of Hector and Paris. Okay, and of course Paris. We're going to talk about Paris today, and he is the prince of Troy and also the son of King Priam. And also he's connected with Helen. Yeah. And then comes the king of Troy. His name is Priam. Yeah, okay. And then there are also two figures. First one is called Sarpedon. He's the son of Zeus. And then the second one called Glaucus. Okay. And then Hecuba and Helen. Hecuba is actually Priam's wife, and Helen, yeah, you all know Helen, yeah, right? So I don't explain it. Okay, so this is actually the figures from the Trojan side. And then we also need to check the gods. Well, of course, there are a lot of gods, but what we are going to talk about, Zeus probably not so much, but Apollo. We're going to talk about Apollo a lot today. And then Leto. So check, actually the gods we're going to talk about today are actually all from the Trojan side, like the Apollo and Leto. Leto is actually mother of Apollo, and also Scamander. He's a minor god, not that important, but his name is interesting. Yeah. So this is basically the figures we're going to talk about today. And then let's probably we can start our class today. So I make it a little bit bigger so you all can check it. Okay, so we are going to talk about these two important questions, and we're going to answer and solve these questions. So first question, what is the language spoken in Troy? I mean, during the time of the Trojan War, during the period where the Iliad story occurred. Yeah, right. So what is the language spoken there? And then what is the meaning, or what does Asia comes from? The name Asia, yeah, Yazhou. Where does this word come from? And these two things are actually related to each other. Okay. And to answer so let's make a guess now. So what is the language spoken in Troy? So probably let's do a question and answer. Yeah. So what is the language spoken in Troy? So what is your guess, or what is your opinion? So first one, Ionic, Greek. Okay, someone said Luwian. And then, well, there are several possibilities and you can choose from them. So first one is Ionic Greek, because Homer, the Iliad is composed in Ionic Greek, and Homer comes from Ionia. And then the second one, Aeolic, we also mentioned that there are a lot of Aeolic elements in the Homeric Greek. And then the third one, the Hittite. And fourth one, Luwian. The fifth one, Lucian. And the sixth one, Akkadian. Yeah. So what is actually your answer to this question? Yeah. Okay. great. So at least the Anatolian language, yeah, that's actually quite correct. Yeah. And then Akkadian. So nobody choose Greek, right? So that's great. Yeah, that means that you probably have done some homework before. Well, the correct answer is Luwian, but I'm going to talk about it in detail. Probably this word is a little bit unfamiliar to you, not as familiar for all of you. But we're going to explain why. Okay. And so actually, there are actually some, well, it's good that nobody choose Greek. Yeah. It's, well, sometimes it can be misleading because someone would argue that the Iliad is written in Greek and the persons from Troy, the people from Troy, they all speak Greek in Iliad, in the Iliad, so they probably speak Greek. This is actually not correct because Iliad is actually a fiction. It is a story. Well, if you tell a story like in Disneyland, you check some cartoons, you check some animations. The animals also talk English, right? They also speak English, but it does not mean that the animals really speak English, right? Okay, so it is actually another language than another language, not the Greek. Yeah. So before we move on, so probably we can check some Greek text. I'm not sure if it is big enough. I try to, okay, I think now it's big enough, right? So now it's big enough. Yeah. I still need some places to write some notes. So let's read the texts first. This is selected from the second book of Iliad, and the second book is actually the one of the famous one because it's the book 2. It actually have a very catalog of ships, or ships catalog in German. Yeah. Because in this book, there are a lot of names and persons, place names, persons, and the description of the places. Okay, so let's check these 2 lines. So I read it first and then we explain it. Poloiga kata astu mega pliamo epikuloi, ale dalon glossa polus be reon anthropon. The meaning, you can check it here. So there are a lot of allies about the great city of Priam, and language differs from language among the scattered nations, right? So poloi is many, and gar is four. Gar is 4, and kata is under the town or inside the city. Yeah, astu means city or town, and mega is actually great. So astu mega is actually great city. Yeah. Yeah, okay, astu mega. Okay, and then priamu is actually the genitive singular of Priam. Priamu, genitive singular Priam. So his name is actually Priamos. Priamos. If you prefer Greek letters, it's fine. Yeah. But I just use transcription. It's fine. Yeah. Okay. So it is actually the Greek alphabet. Yeah. And epikuloi means allies. So actually they're fighting together, so they are allies. And then ale means another. So another, this is feminine singular and connected with glossa. So glossa actually first means your tongue, so it's a tongue, 舌头, and then it comes to meaning language, right? And just like lingua, Latin lingua, yeah. Okay, and then alon means others, other, yeah. So it's plural, and anthropon is actually people, but people in the probably in the collective sense, that's people, right? So people in English can have two meanings, right? So first one is persons, and another one is the how to say that, the collective of people belonging to a specific group, right? So, and then you can translate them as nations, but not really the real modern nations, but kind of I'm not sure if it has something to do with their ethnic identity, but they speak different languages, right? Okay, so polyspedeon, scattered, yeah. Okay, so actually in the Iliad, we also we already have the information that these people come from different nations, areas, and they speak different languages, right? And then let's check another passage called Ugar patron en homos tros udia gerus aragro se me micto polycleto desan andres. So again, not. So for, gar means for, not for not, panton, or, genitive plural of all, and then in or os. So this is copula, means existed. Yeah, this is existed. This is past. This is past tense, and then homos thros. So the same noise. So thros means actually great noise. The people are gathering together, so make great noise. So there's not a same noise and not a single. Ia is actually one, mia. It's actually Aeolic form. It's not a. It's not the real Ionic, but another dialect. So gelus means speech, a voice. So there's not a same noise, nor a same speech or voice. Yeah. Alla grossa, alla but. Grossa, again, language. So the language, eme micto. So micto, actually, the also means mixture. It's mixed. It was mixed. Yeah. And polykletoi, they are called. Kletos is called. Yeah. Poly from different many places. So these persons, these people, these men, actually these men, they were called from many lands. So you know that they are actually a mixture of people, right? Okay, and then let's check the most important, one of the most important words, namely, and then you also we can also check this. There's also a passage in Iliad 402. So actually, the I think that it is yeah, it is the son. It is check it. It is the son of Hector, and you remember that his son also appeared in the Iliad story. So this is a verse called "Ton rector kare esque scamandrion otar hoi aloi astu anact hoi scar elu eto ilion ector." Yeah. So let's check it. So what is the meaning? So the meaning is that Hector called him Kaleeske. So Hector called his son as Scamandrios. So we have the first So it is actually Scamandrion is the son of Hector, but but Hoi Aroi, the others, called him Astu Anax. So the second one, let's check it. So Anax, so actually yeah, so it's actually yeah. So what is the difference of these two names? So can anyone tell me which, if this is 1 and this is 2, which one is real, is Greek? Sorry. So which one is real Greek name? The first one is Greek name. Okay, and then the second one, I already make the check it. I already split the compound for you. Yeah. So actually, the second one is the real Greek name, because this is a compound, and the compound means Astu. Wait a minute. So Astu means city, right? And Anax means king, right? So actually, the son of Hector is called king of the city. So it is actually a Greek name. But this Scamandrion is not. And for this Scamandrion, probably we can check another passage which we mentioned last time. Wait a minute. I suppose that you would, some of you have still remember this verse, which we actually discussed in the previous courses. So this is a passage I want to. So with this passage, I want to show you that already the ancient Greeks, or no, not he's not ancient Greeks. I mean, already in the ancient time, the people already noticed that the language of Homer is not how to say that even. It's a mixture of different dialects. So he talked about the names. So for example, Homer telling us the river is called not Scamander, but Xanthos by the gods. Xanthos by the gods. So actually, Scamander is also mentioned, Scamander, but Xanthos by the gods. Yeah. So actually, there are different versions of the name of the river, Xanthos. And does anyone know where Xanthos is? Xanthos. Of course, we can check the. Wikipedia or check the Google, right? And Xanthos, let's check it. Xanthos. Oh, wait a minute. The river. The river Xanthos. This is the river. You remember it. So we are talking about the river, right? So we are talking about the river. So the river is not is called by the humans, right? So this is the name. So so I make it. Make it clearly. So there's a river. The river name have two versions. By the humans, by the human beings. Yeah. So it is called Scamandro, right? And by the gods, it's called Xanthos. Xanthos. So I transcribe it. Scamandron, right? And this one, yeah. Okay, and then if we check the map, wait a minute. So this Xanthos, let's check it. Xanthos is here. Oh, we don't have that point. We don't have the red spot. So you see, Xanthos is actually here. And we also have a very important temple from Xanthos, but now it is in British Museum. So it is really, well, I can only admire the British people that they carried the whole, they took the whole temple made in stone from Turkey here back to British Museum. Wow, it's really wonderful. Yeah. So here you see, this is, but probably you can check this is a temple. This is a temple in Xanthos, and Xanthos, let's check it. Xanthos in Turkey. I make it a little bit smaller. Wait a minute. So you see here we also have a theater in the ancient time. So Xanthos, let's check it. Make it smaller. Check it. So here is Xanthos. Xanthos is here. So it is already in Anatolian, right? So it's in Turkey, right? So it is Ankara. So let's move on. Let's move back to the passage. So we know that the river, there's a river here. So there's a river here. It is called by the gods, Xanthos, but by the humans, it's called Scamandron. And you can easily discover the similarity between the son of Hector, called Scamandrion, and the river name by the humans, called Scamandron. So it is really, so then we know that this place, this river, must be located in Anatolia, in Asia Minor, right? In this area. And then let's move on. So this is one piece of information. And then let's move on to, and I have told you that this name is not Greek. It's not real Greek name. The real Greek name is called Astrianata, and this Scamandrion is actually from another language. But which language we are going to find it today. So now let's check another name, which is the most famous one. So the name of the city called Ilion or Ilios, right? The Ilios, Ilion, yeah, it's actually the same thing, right? The same place, yeah. So probably we first check the name in our Greek corpus. So let's check it. Wait a minute. So this is temple. And then, so for checking the we use so check a specific Greek word in the corpus. We need to use this one, Thesaurus linguae glycae, and then we tip Ilios here. Oh, sorry, we select. We have to specify the author. So we specify the author as Homer, the epic, and then we can check the name in Homer specifically. So I make it bigger. So this is all the occurrences in the Iliad, right? Okay, it looks quite normal, right? Okay, but there are some instances. So let's check this one. Let's check this 3 passages. So we have in Greek, wait a minute. We have in Greek, right? We have in Greek these 2 words, right? So check it. This is a vowel, and this is also a vowel. And usually in Greek, we would expect elision. And elision means, if you are not familiar with this, so probably we can check the dictionary. Is it? Why don't we have it? It's really weird. Elision. So elision, so I have to make it with a single L. So elision, the cutting off or suppression of a vowel or syllable for the sake of meter, euphony, and so on, dropping off a final vowel. So take a look at this one. So this is elision. Elision means that if you have, elision means that if you have 2 vowels coming together and the first one is always dropped, like just like the Sanskrit, Sanskrit sandhi, right? You have to make some change to the vowel. But in the Greek text, so check it. In the Iliad text, we have several occurrences of hypoidion, and there's no elision. Because if there is elision, the meter would be destroyed, right? So, so for example, we check this one. This is not a good one. This is not the best one. So I need to explain this word later in our course. So let's check this one. This is long, short, short. Check it. I need to highlight this one. So this is actually a very good example for explaining the meter. So this is a long syllable, right? Long, short, short. But why it is a short? Because there's a vowel after it. So it makes this I into a short vowel. So it is long, short, short, and long, short, short. Again, take it. This is again short, short. Because this oi together with this high, it makes there's an elision. So this is long, short, short, and then a long by position, artery, long, and this is also or short, short. There are 2 vowels, long, short, short, and then long, short, short. So we must have a short syllable here. If there is an elision, take a look. If this disappears, you will see that long, short, this is different, right? And then one syllable is missing here. Yeah. So we must have this all here. And if we have this all and there is no elision, what does this mean? It means that there is actually a hidden consonant here. Here there's something, there's a hidden consonant. I put it here. There's a hidden consonant here. And then this is a long, Ilion, long, short, short, and then long, long, yeah. So then we know that this Ilion actually comes from, wait a minute. Oh, I forgot to, well, I have to use this. I need to save this as favorite. Wait a minute. This means that originally we actually have a D gamma. Sorry. It means that we actually have a sorry. So it means that we actually originally have a D gamma here. It's not actually Ilion, but Wiluan. So it is actually it is actually Wiluan. Yeah. And then Wiluan, let's check it. If we check the Hittite, so let's check the, wait a minute. So let's check this book. So this book is actually, so name of this book is called Letters from the Hittite Kingdom. So in the Hittite correspondence, so the Hittite Kingdom, there's a lot of Hittite texts and also letters. And so among these letters, we have a very interesting name. So it is the name called Wilusa or Wilusa. And this Wilusa, if we check it again, wait a minute. So this Wilusa has, how to say that? This Wilusa is a place in the Western Anatolian. And if we check the letters from Hittite archives, we know that, take a look. So there's a, how to say that? So this is a Hittite king. So the name, like Tarhunta, is a Hittite king. And then they are talking about the troops or the fight or the battle in the country of Wilusa. And even more important is another information of this Wilusa. So let's check it. So there's another treaty between this Wilusa and the Hittite king. So take a look. So my majesty, Mur city, great king, king of the land of Hattusa. And Hattusa is actually the capital city of the Hittite kingdom. Let's check it. But probably now we can check some maps. Wait a minute. Well, I should have saved some. Wait a minute. Early, middle, mid-range. Okay. So this is a map of the Hittite kingdom, and I'm not sure. Yeah, here. Check it. So this is actually Hattusha. This is Hattusha. It is the Hittite capital city, right here. And then Wilusa is actually here. It is actually Wilusa. And between Wilusa and the Hittite kingdom, they made a treaty so that the Hittite kingdom will protect this Wilusa from attacks. And probably we can check probably the detail of this Wilusa. So there's also so there's some passages like this. So formerly, at one time, the Labana, it is actually the founder of the Hittite kingdom. He's a Hittite great king called Labana, and my ancestor, and he had made all the land of Arzawa and all the land of Wilusa as political clients. It means that the Hittite kingdom has actually conquered the Wilusa area. And the Wilusa, you have, I think you have already seen. I get a map here, you can see. So it is actually here called, this is Wilusa is here, and Hattusha is here. And then there's also another information. This Arzawa, actually it's Arzawa. Arzawa is also another place name. It's actually a cover term for this area. You check it. This is Arzawa. This is this area. This area is called Arzawa. So Wilusa, Arzawa, they actually belong together to the same area, right? Okay. And then another information. So let's check. So Wilusa is actually a state or a country, right? And then what is the name of Wilusa? What is the name of the king of Wilusa? Let's check it. So the king of Wilusa is called Alexander. So he is actually the king of Wilusa. So king of Wilusa. So king of Wilusa is called Alexander. And I think if you see this name, you certainly know that it is connected with the Greek name Alexandria or Alexandros, right? Alexandros, right? So if you put it, I think I don't. I think yeah, it's the Greek version of Alexandros, and that's. So then we move on to Paris. So the king of Wilusa is called Alexandros. And does anyone know the name of Paris? Paris has another name. If we check, if you don't know, we can check it in the Wikipedia, right? So Paris of Troy, right? So Paris of Troy, check it. Wait a minute. So Paris of Troy has the name Alexander or Alexandros. So I put it here. Paris has other name. So do you think that it is a coincidence? And this Wilusa is actually, so actually this Wilusa is the, this is actually the Anatolian name of Ilion or Wilion, to be specific. So Wilusa is actually the Anatolian name of Wiluan, and Alexandru is actually the Anatolian version of Alexandros, and Paris of Troy or Iliad or Ilion is called Alexandros. So this is actually really no coincidence. It cannot be coincidence. So then we know that this Troy, this Iliad story has actually a historical background, and it is recorded in the Hittite letters. So the Hittite letter, we're not going to read the letter today, but in our later courses, we will check the letter. We will check the original version, original Hittite version of this letter. Not this letter, this treaty. The treaty between the Hittite king and the king of Wilusa. So you check it. So this is the land Wilusa. So you find it. So here it is Arzawa, and this Ulu, and Ulu is a Sumerian gram. And you see it is written like Wilusa, right? So Wilusa, and so on and so on. So it is actually between Hatti. So Hatti is actually also the name of the Hittite capital. It's located, as you have already seen. So this is actually the treaty between the Hittite kingdom and the land and the country of Wilusa, and the how do you say that? And the king of Wilusa is called. The king of Wilusa is called Alexandru, preserved in the text. We can also check it. So if we check another document, this is a letter. So you also find this Alexandru here. So Wilusa is actually one of the Arzawa lands of the Western Asian Minor in Hittite times, and the rulers has the name Alexandru, and this is actually the historical background. So actually, there was a battle in Wilusa, and the king of Wilusa is actually an ally of the Hittite Empire. So he sent letters to the Hittite emperor, and he also got military support from this Hittite empire. And now let's move on to the explanation of the other name. So Priam. So if and then you wait a minute. So what should I say? And then another important detail, the land Arzawa, if we check it, so the land Arzawa is actually so in the earlier texts, we have Wiluli, but in later texts replaced by Arzawa. So actually, Arzawa is the same thing of Wiluli or Luwian. So actually, these two things are actually the same thing. So if we check the later Hittite text. Okay, and then probably let's move on to some pictures. So, and then we're going to read some texts. Okay. So something about the Luwian. So this is a picture I find in a lecture by I'm not sure if he's a German. So this is a picture of the important philosophers or important poets in the ancient times. So this is basically the time of like 6th or 7th century or 5th century, right? Okay, so you see Socrates and Solon and Hesiod, they come from the Attica area, the Greek area, right? But check all the other important people. Like Sappho comes from here, and Archaeos also here, and also Anaxagoras here. They are all pre-Socratic philosophers. And then Homer is from Ionia, we know that, and Alcman is from here, and also Xenophanes is here, and Heraclit is here, and Pythagoras comes from here, and Thales, Anaximander, Anaximenes, and so on and so on. And Herodot is also here. So if we admit that the important philosophers and important poets are really connected with a rich culture, because if you don't have a rich culture, there won't be any philosophers. There won't be these famous people, right? So the distribution of these important people, the important philosophers, can tell us something, that at the time of like 6th, 7th century, or Homer is like 8th century, right? We know, the Iliad is about 8th century, right? So we know that actually in the ancient times, the Western Anatolian area is actually has a rich culture behind it, right? And then we can also make this more obvious. So we know at the time of the late Bronze Age, like the 14th century or 14th, 15th or 13th century, right? So we have a Mycenaean culture here, and we have Minoan here, we have Cyprus here, and this is Egypt, and this Canaan, and this Babylon, and this Elam, and Syria, and Asia, and Hatti. Hatti is the Hittite kingdom. But what do we have here? And then this green area is actually farmland. So it is actually real fertile, and it is really suitable for farmers, for agriculture, right? And you can also see that all the important civilizations, like the Egyptian civilization, the Babylonian civilization, Elamian, Asian, Syria, Hatti, and they are all connected with this arable land, this fertile, this agricultural area, right? And then here you see there's a lot of green area, there are a lot of farmland, so there must be something, right? And indeed, this is actually the Luwian, as we have seen. We checked it earlier, so this is actually the area of the Luwians. And if we move on, this is actually the the area. So this is actually a map from the Neue Pauli, the historical atlas. And this is actually a language. So you see the Greek language is used in this area, and Hittite language is actually quite restricted, only in this small place, actually centralized language, kind of an official language, a very high language, yeah, it's kind of a royal language, but the Luwian language is used in all these areas because we find the Luwian texts in all these areas. Okay, and then another important picture. So this is actually a picture of this whole area. This black spots actually the settlements odds. 就是聚居的地方，就是在这里发现了一些考古的遗迹啊之类的。And then these spots, you see, this is copper, and this is gold, and this is silver. The yellow circle is gold. The triangle, the white triangle, is silver. So you see, this area is a really rich area. A lot of copper and a lot of gold. You see, this is gold, and there's a lot of there's also lead, 就是铅， there's also 铅银、金银、铜等等之类。就是这个地区 this area is so famous, so popular, and so fertile. And if we make it like this, so it's make more obvious, right? Also, this area is also very rich, and also this area is also very rich. Okay, so then let's come to probably the archaeological excavation. So here it is actually the historical Troy and discovered by Schliemann. And Troy is located here. And it is, so we have already seen this area is very rich and very suitable for agriculture, and this is why that other people want to attack and take hold of this place, right? So this is Troy, and the historians has actually reconstructed the whole area. So this is the archaeological excavation. You see there are actually several layers, and you see there are actually several layers, and this is actually the historical Ilion, and this is city of Troy. And Ilion, you can see it is located in a very in a high place, and Schliemann has dug into this area, but the real Troy of the Iliad is actually this one, the red one. It's so-called Troy 6. So they actually number the different layers of Troy. And then the real Troy, which the Greeks had attacked it, is actually located here. And it is actually already buried by the deposits. So there are river, right? So just like in Shanghai, there are a lot of mud, sand, coming from the river, the Yangtze River, right? So you also have the same situation here. It's buried, and then the historians has reconstructed the view or the structure of the ancient Troy. So you see, this is a river from the how to say that, the Hellespont, right? So this is a sea, the passage from the sea, and then it is there's also ships here, and there's a port, the harbor, and this is a city, and this is a wall. This is a walls, and then this is a citadel. This is Ilion. Yeah. So this is actually the reconstruction by the historians. Yeah, look like this one. Yeah. So then we know that historically the language of this area is actually, okay, this is not relevant. So now we have the information that the language, if we use this map again, so this is actually the distribution of language in the ancient time. So Troy, take a look, Troy is actually here. This is Hittite, yeah, okay. And before, so, but my class is actually a linguistic class, so so the historical or the geographical, archaeological part is finished, and we are going to read texts. Okay, so this is actually the evidence from the archaeological site, and then as a historical linguist, what can we find in the texts preserved? Yeah, preserved in our text. So before we move on, before we make a stop, let's check a passage in this in the Iliad. So actually, in the Iliad, the Ilion is always called Wait a minute, I forgot the verse. Wait a minute. And then we can make a stop. Can I make a? Wait a minute. Okay, so actually in the Iliad, if we check this one, so there's a very interesting thing that if we check the Iliad, probably I should make it smaller so that you can all see the whole picture. So actually in the Iliad, if we describe Iliad, we always find a fixed verse. We always find a very fixed phrase. It's called Ilios. Wait a minute. So for the description of Troy, or Ilion, right? Ilion, yeah. Or Ilios, a fixed word phrase. This one is called Ilion Ipe. And this fixed verse always, I think it's almost every time, or, right? So they all occur in at the beginning, okay, of the verse. Yeah, this. So this fixed phrase, Ilios aipene, all occur at the beginning of the verse. And aipene, probably let's check it in the dictionary. Aipenios. Okay. So aipene comes from this word called high or lofty of cities and heights. And then you check it, it's always the distribution of idiom. So it means lofty or high idiom. Right? It means high or lofty idios, right? So you find it like here, Homer, ideo aipenes, idios aipene, and ideo aipenes, idiom aipene. So always they all occur at the beginning of the verse, and it is a very fixed phrase. And as we have already seen in this picture, indeed it is a lofty place, right? So it is indeed a lofty. It is indeed a lofty place. So before before we move a stop, let's check then we will check the Anatolian version. Okay. So let's make a stop and then we will continue. Okay. 那个我把那个录屏停一下吧。Wait a minute. So let's stop. We can. I'm not sure that I try to restrict our time to like 1.5 hours, but I really want to finish it, especially finish the Nestor Cup. This is really interesting story. I think more interesting than this one so far. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. So as we have mentioned in the Iliad, the description of Ilios is always Ilios aėpεινή, Ilios aėpεινή, Ilios aėpεινή, and it is so fixed. So we cannot imagine that this is kind of how do you say that? I think it's just like the Buddhist translation, right? Like 如是我闻. You find at the beginning of a text always like 如是我闻, 如是我闻. And you know that 如是我闻 is not a Chinese terminology. It's not a Chinese phrase. It's a translation. If you always find a fixed phrase at the beginning of the text, and this too can tell you something, it must be kind of borrowed from somewhere, right? Okay, or it belongs to kind of a historical, poetic language, right? Okay, so then let's move on. So actually, in the wait a minute. Yeah, so let's check. Let's check the Luwian text. So actually, in the Luwian text, we need to use this this book. This is a very I will show you. Wait a minute. So we will need. Wait a minute. So this is a book we are going to read, we are going to use, not really read. We're going to use this. So it is called Die Keilschriften Luwischen Texte in Umschriften by Frank Starke. So it is the text edition by the it is a text edition of the Luwian texts. And actually Luwian, we need to explain a little bit. So actually there are two groups. One is the cuneiform Luwian. This is what we have here. And the second one is the hieroglyphic Luwian. 就上面是楔形文字 I put it in Chinese. 楔形文字 下面是象形文字 Okay. So we first check the cuneiform text, and we find in this text there's an important passage. Wait a minute. Yeah, here. Find it here. So this is wait a minute. So this is a passage. Sorry. My computer is a little bit acting a little bit weird. Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, so this is the passage we are going to read, line 46. So it's called Ahata, Alati, Avienta, wilusati. I know it means nothing for you, but we can check it. So this is actually a Luwian song of Wilusa, and aha tata means when, as when, yeah. And then alati, wait a minute, and alati means steep, high. And then avi enter means they came. And then wilusati. And this T is actually ablative suffix in Luwian. So it means that when they came from steep Wilusa. So actually in the Luwian text, and this text is about, the Euro-Luwian text is about, how do you say that, 1,400 years BC. So this is actually about 100 BCE, yeah? So this is much earlier than, of course, than Homer, right? Of course, than Homer. So Homer is about 8th century. 8th century BC, yeah. So for this text, we know, from this text, we know that already in the Luwian tradition, Wilusa is called alati, or the Ada, or the Ali. It's called Ada wilusati. Alati wilusati. So from the steep, so from the lofty, high Wilusa, or Ilios, right? And then this Ada is even borrowed actually into Greek. So Greek, if you check the Greek dictionary, there's a word called, if you check the Greek dictionary, there's a word called Elibatos. And what is, wait a minute. So what is the name, what is the meaning of this Elibatos? Elibatos means high, steep. And it is, yeah, it's always in Homer as epithet of stone or stones, right? So it means that kind of a stone-made kind of a city or citadel or something, 就是相当于用石头做的城堡啊，说类似这样的东西。And then this Eli, if you check other dialects, let's, for example, let's check it in the Greek etymological dictionary. If you check it here, wait a minute. So, Elibatos. So, if you check it here, this Elibatos is in Dorian, is called Adibatos. And then, so actually, this Elibatos, Eli actually is a Luwian loanword from Ada. Ada means high, steep, and it's a description of the Ilion or Wilusa. Okay, so this is actually a correspondence between the Greek text and the Luwian text. So Luwian called alati wilusati, and the Greek is called Ilios aėpεινή. Okay, and then if we want to check the text, how can we find it? So this is a number. It's called KBO 4.11. So there's actually a very good database you can use. So I probably check it here. So there's a very good database. It's called this one. And you put this KBO here, and then this is 4, and then this is 11. And then you click search and you find it. So this is actually the, so you find it the original tablet or stone. This is actually stone, yeah. Yeah, and then you can read it. Yeah, the original tablet. Yeah, and then this is a transliteration, and then you can compare these two, and then you can read it together. And there's also, of course, there's also a translation. You find the translation here. Wait a minute. So this is Nestor Cup. So you find the translation. There's a very useful website called, it's called Annotated Corpus of Luwian Text. So if you search a text like, wait a minute. So if I search okay. So if I search alati, oh sorry. It's a little bit weird. Did I forget something? Yeah. Sorry, hold on. It's a little bit weird. Probably I should add it here. Yeah, okay. You have to put this how to say that, the Bindestrich, the I don't know how to put it in English. In German, it's called Bindestrich， 就是这个连线，你把这个连线放上去，就是你输 alati, and then you click enter, and then you find this, and then you put your mouse on each word, and then comes the meaning. So it's a pretty useful, how to say that? It's pretty useful website. Then you can check all the. So for example, this we enter, and then you know that it is active third person plural and means to come, and it is the preterite or the past. Yeah. And wilusati, it's wilusa, and yeah, it's pretty useful. And then you have also the vocabulary here, and also there's a grammar, so this is pretty useful for this one. And then after this, let's check another interesting passage. So let's check the, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, I will send it to our group chat. Yeah, I will do it. Yeah. So then let's check another aspect which speaks for the relationship between the close relationship between Wilusa and Troy and Ilios. So there's an important, there's another epic story called the Little Iliad. So the Little Iliad means that originally we have for the Greek epic, not only Iliad and Odyssey, but also other epic stories. So they are called the epic cycle or the Trojan cycle. And inside this cycle, so it is called a cycle because it is kind of written, or not written, I mean, it is composed kind of chronologically. So from the earliest, according to the order of events. So there's one of them is called the Little Iliad. So for the Little Iliad, we only have fragments, and this fragment is preserved in the later authors. So I can show you the page. So this is a text edition. Wait a minute. So this is called Cyclos Epicus, Cyclos Epicus. So it is the epic cycle. And then if we move on to the, I have to show you the title. Yeah, the title is called Poetae Epici Graeci Testimonia et Fragmenta. Put it in English, it's like a testimonia and fragments of the epic poets, Greek epic poets. I mean, it's Latin, but you can all understand it, right? So poetae is poets, and epici is epic, graeci is Greek. And then there's an author, and his name is called Patroclus, and he has noted very interesting passage about the tradition of Ilios. So let's read this passage. So I copied. So this is the original text edition. This is what you have to use if you want to cite this passage. And then I already copied the text. So we just read the translation and the text. Okay. So first we have to, we can first read the English translation. So after this, Odysseus ambushed Helenus and captures him. And following a prophecy he makes about the taking of city. And Odysseus with Diomedes brings Philoctetes back from Lemnos, and he is healed and so on. And then, wait a minute, I forgot to copy this. Copy the, let's check it, wait a minute. Let's check it in Lope. It's pretty simple. Yeah. So we put this text in Lope, and then we see it is little Iliad, right? The little Iliad, and then we read further. There's an interesting passage about the custom 风俗，就是伊利亚特，不就是那个伊利翁那个地方的那个风俗？风俗是什么呢？是说啊 ，check it. So Hector was killed, right? So Hector was killed, and then his brother Deiphobos. Oh no, the Paris was killed, right? So no, not Paris. Deiphobos. Okay, wait a minute. Let's let's come back to the people. Yeah. So Deiphobos is Hector. I'm right. So Deiphobos is actually the brother. Yes, yeah, it is actually the yes, correct. So Deiphobos is actually brother of Paris, right? And then let's move to the passage. So after that, Deiphobos marries Helen. So this is the text. So meta de tauta. Meta means after, tauta this, and Deiphobos, the name, the brother of Paris. So brother of Paris married Helen. Okay, so Deiphobos is actually the the brother, the elder brother， 就是应该是兄，就是可能是长兄吧。我不确定他和，我其实不确定他和 Hector 的那个年纪到底谁大，但反正他是他们的，比如英语的话，反正都翻译成 brother， 对吧？啊 ，so okay, so right, yeah, Deiphobos is actually the older brother of Paris, and then so after that he can marry Helen. Okay, and then let's check another interesting text in the Hittite corpus. So in the Hittite text, we check the Hittite law. So this is a book we use actually. So it's called the Laws of the Hittites, and if we move on to number 193, so this is actually a Hittite law, but you can take it as a tradition in the Anatolian area. So I make it a little bit bigger. So we're not going to read the text, but yeah, this is a very simple Hittite text, not complicated. The grammar is pretty simple, right? And there are not many words, so we can read the translation. So if a man has a wife and the man dies, his brother shall take his widow as wife, and if the brother dies, his father shall take her. When afterwards his father dies, the father's brother shall take the woman whom he had. 翻译成中文就是，yeah, okay. So he is actually the eldest brother. OK，就翻译成中文就是，我觉得你们应该明白吧，就是一个人他死了，然后他的那个兄弟应该是兄吧，就是他的哥哥，可以和他的那个遗孀结婚，对吧？然后如果他的哥哥死了，那他父亲，然后他父亲死了，那他父亲的兄，对吧？就是这样，大概就是这样的一个过程。So Taku is if, and Lu is actually a man, and Munus is actually a wife. Yeah. So this Lu, so you find so this is a typical Hittite text. So the words written in small letters, they are actually Hittite. Sorry, they are Hittite words, but words written in this is Sumerian, right? And then this is written in italic, and it is from Akkadian. Yeah, it is Akkadian word. Yeah. So basically, if you want to read, Lu is Sumerian for man, and Munus is actually Sumerian for wife, and Dam is actually his or son, yeah, man or son, yeah, and Dam is actually his widow, yeah, okay, and so you find it really interesting. So they use Sumerian word, but they use Indo-European. So Sumerian is not an Indo-European language, but they use a symbol from the Sumerian language, and then they add a Indo-European case ending. So this is actually the case ending us for nominative singular of masculine, right? Okay, and then this is not really masculine, not common gender, sorry. Yeah, okay, yeah. So this is basically the law. So it is actually the tradition in the Anatolian area that the brother, so it is actually the tradition in Anatolian area. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Brother married the widow of his elder brother. Sorry, elder brother is younger. Yeah. And it is recorded. It is recorded. Wait a minute. It is recorded in the Little Iliad. In the Little Iliad. So this is actually the story after Iliad, right? So we couldn't find the information in the real Iliad, but we have this information in the Little Iliad. And then we also have the information in the Hittite law. It's a tradition in the Anatolian area. Okay, so this is enough for this one. So probably we can move quickly to the Nestor Cup. This is really interesting. I really want to finish this. So we can talk about Priam next time. So Priam is not that interesting compared with this one. This Nestor Cup is really, really interesting. So let's check a passage in the Nestor Cup. So Nestor Cup, as you have seen, this is, wait a minute. So this is basically the Nestor Cup you've seen in the museum, but we have a very detailed explanation of description of this cup in the Iliad. So it is actually in Iliad book 11 from line number 632 to 641. So I put this passage here, but you are not supposed to read the text alone. We are going to read it together. So wait a minute. So this is text. 我希望你们不会介意吧，我稍微拖大概10几分钟，我尽量把这个长话短说，然后把最重要的信息告诉你们。Okay, so let's check this passage. So this is the keywords of our passage. it is called depas, and depas is, the meaning of depas is cup. And then I just read a few words, a few lines, right? So par depas pedicares ho oikosen e o geraios chryseois e cheloisi pe par menon owata dauton tessar esan doiae de peleiades enfis hekaston chrysea ne me sonto duo dupo plus menes esan aros men mogeon apokine saske trapezes. So I think this is enough, and then we can analyze this. So there's a beautiful cup. So this is petty cares, very beautiful. Petty, yeah, very beautiful cup. And then the old man, ho geraios. So this is the old man. So old man brought from home. So he took the cup from home. Oikosen is from home, and sen is an ablative ending, and oikos is home. And then comes the important description of this cup. This is actually the most important information we need to mention. So this is a cup and studded with golden nails. 就是 nail 就是钉子对吧？就是有金色的钉子。So chryseoisi cheloisi. So this is with golden nails. 有金色的那个钉子在上面 ，and 就是装点装饰。And then we also have 4 handles. So this is actually a handle. It has 4 handles, right? And then doiae de peleiades. Each. So amphis hekaston. Amphis around. Amphis around. Amphi, like English amphi, right? And hekaston each side. So around each side there are 2 doves. 就是有2只鸽子在那里。这是一个非常重要的信息，就是有2只鸽子在那里。首先有金色的钉子，然后呢还有2只鸽子在那里。然后呢下面有2条腿，这个2条腿这个其实无所谓了。这个词我以后讲也可以。这个词和那个英语的和英语的 bottom 是同源的。这个词和英语的 bottom 是同源的。OK， 就底座的意思，就是在它下面有2个底座，对吧？这个大家大概看一下也可以。好，有意思的是什么呢 ？depas 这个词啊，事实上 ，so actually the interesting part comes from this section. So there's so I think you probably can recognize what is this one, PY-TAR 641. This is actually a Mycenaean tablet. So let's check the Mycenaean tablet. So this is, wait a minute. So for the Mycenaean materials, we need to use this one. This is a database of the Mycenaean documents. So this is a document from Pylos. And probably you all know Pylos. Where is Pylos? So Pylos is actually here. So this area, the Mycenaean, this is actually Pylos is actually located here. I'm not sure. This is actually in Mycenaean. I'm not sure where exactly, but Pylos is actually in Mycenaean. So we check. So and then we type in the number 16146, and then this is a tablet. We are going to read. No, wait a minute. I probably. So this is a tablet we're going to read. So this tablet is really interesting. Should I wait a minute? This we have in this tablet this word dipa, yeah. So actually in the Mycenaean, linear B, we have in linear B text, there's a word called dipa, yeah. And this dipa is really interesting. Check it. So we have, this is a tablet, and in this tablet, we first have a dipa. I'm not sure which sign, but you can trust me. So this is actually the reading. I copied the reading here. So this is the Mycenaean tablet, PYTA641. And this is the text, right? So this is dipa. And after this is written in, this is syllable, right? 就是这个是音节，就是用音节写的。然后呢，这个音节写完了之后，它后面用了一个象形的东西来写。Vase 大家可以猜一猜是什么？其实就是那个花瓶的东西。我给大家看一看这个东西。这个东西就是这个东西 vase. So this is actually the Mycenaean text. So we have this information already in the Mycenaean text. You see, this is the hieroglyphic. This is the hieroglyphic. This is the hieroglyphic symbol sign. 就这个是线性文字 B 用来表示这个花瓶到底是什么的。然后呢，这个花瓶非常有意思的，它写的话是写成 dipa. This is the syllable dipa, right? And check it. If this is dipa, this is certainly the Greek. This is certainly the Greek dipas, right? Yeah. This is actually the Greek word dipas. And then this is another word, yeah. So the logic of Mycenaean text is like they first write syllables, 就是首先用音节写。然后呢，最后表明这个东西是什么的时候，还会用一个象形的符号，就是来标注。这个就是他们象形的符号是这个。然后前面这个 dipa 呢，事实上是和希腊语的这个，所以 so this is actually Greek, and this is Mycenaean. Okay, but the most important part has not come. And then this dipa is the Mycenaean has actually borrowed from somewhere else. So what is the origin of this dipa? If we check, so the origin of this dipa comes from, let's check it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So so first, this is the cup word. So this is a cup, and this is a goblet, or this is a bowl, right? So you know the meaning of this word. Mycenaean is called dipa, and Greek is called depas. And if we check the Greek text, there's a very interesting detail. The interesting detail is mentioned in a lot of texts. The information is read like this. The sun is traveling from west to east by night on a golden bowl. And so it means that 就是太阳它运行的轨迹，事实上是说它是在一个金色的碗里面来转的，它是在一个金色的碗里面运行，就从东边到西边，从西边到东边，大概是这样，就是日升日落嘛，就是 like the sunrise, like the sunfall， 就是他们看到这个太阳不是在天空转了一圈嘛，然后他们就觉得这个太阳是从一个金色的碗里面然后过去的一样。And this information you find in several poets. we can probably read a passage. This is, wait a minute. So this is a passage from, there's a lot of poets. One is called Mimnemos, and there's other poets, wait a minute. There's also a poet called Pisandes, and so on. So in the poem of Pisandes, there's a sentence called Heracles crosses the Okeanos on the sun's bow given to him by Okeanos himself. So check it. So this is a very important sun's bow. So this bow, so this depas closely related to sun. Yeah. This bow, in the Greek context, bow is closely related to sun. And we find it, you find it here, wait a minute, so we can, so this is actually the Greek text, a fragment by Stesichorus. It's called Ilios epipoterio di ekomizeto epitenducing Stesichorus, and so on. So it means that the sun, Helios is the sun. It's etymologically connected with Sanskrit Surya. Sanskrit Surya is connected with what? With what? And the poterio means a drinking cup, potable, like, yeah, you also have this word, pot, like drinking, right? So this is a drinking cup. And then epiteducing, like to the western side, to like the during the sunfall, 就是日落的时候，就是它会就是这个太阳，它会在一个杯子里面。So the sun kind of travel to the west in a cup. So this is a little bit strange, right? Because how can we? So this is so the connection of bow to the sun. And really, we have a kind of connection between sun and the chakra, right? So this is actually preserved in the, wait a minute. Actually, in the Indo-European context, we have the connection between, we usually have the connection between chakra and surya. Like in Rig Veda, we have chakram suryasya, right? Chakram suryasya. And in Greek, we have helio kyklos. So the sun is like, how do you say that? The sun is like a chakra, a wheel, right? Because it is round and it goes like a wheel, right? But the connection between the sun to a bow is a little bit strange, right? Although I have explained that the imagination that the sun goes under the ground and like a bow, but why should it be a bow, not a chakra, right? Because it goes back to this word. This is the word in Luwian. Check it. So this is a hieroglyphic Luwian. And let's check probably a text. Wait a minute. I'm not sure which text we should use. So we have actually in Luwian a very interesting symbol. So this is a hieroglyphic Luwian, and for the hieroglyphic Luwian, we have a very interesting symbol, and this symbol is translated as sky, kairon. This symbol is actually sky in Luwian, in Luwian, yeah. And this symbol, how does it look like? This really looks exactly like a bow, right? Yeah, this is exactly like a bow. And you also find it in the dictionary by Larouche. So this is a symbol for xie, and it is written as tapas or tepas. And this is a bow. Yeah, this is actually a bow. So actually, the Mycenaean word dipa comes from the Luwian word tipa, or tapa. So this is actually the same thing, dipa and tapa, and then in the Luwian context, coupe. Wait a minute, I forgot the meaning of coupe. So coupe also. Wait a minute. Coupe. Yeah, this is also cup, right? Yeah. This is actually in Luwian. This word has two meanings: heaven and cup. Yeah. And this is the reason why, in the Greek context, the bow, tepas, is connected with the sun, because it comes from the Luwian word tipa, and from tipa to dipa. And this is also, and this corresponds to a de in Greek. We also have a lot of other examples. So this is actually the Nestor story. So Nestor's cup, the shape, the description, we find it in Iliad, and also in the hieroglyphic, also in the linear B text, and then in the Greek context, the connection between. Wait a minute. In the I forgot which book. Yeah, and also in the Greek context, the sun is closely connected with a cup, and this all goes back to the Luwian, because in Luwian, the symbol or the word for sky is written like this, and in the this is a hieroglyphic, right? But we also have in other texts, we also have the cuneiform text, and it is written as tapas or tepas. And in Luwian, it's also called coupe or cup. Yeah. Okay, so this is basically the Nestor Cup story. And before we stop and make a brief summary of what we have done today, it's a long story, and I still have to make a summary. So today we talk about the background. Sanskrit. Okay, the Sanskrit. So this is actually the Sanskrit poem. So this is a Sanskrit poem, Ayam Chakram, Isha Nat Suriyasya. Okay. Dieser Chakram, Rat, und Suryasya, der Sonne, of the sun, and Ishanat, drive. So he drives the wheel of the sun further. Okay, so today we talk about the historical background of Troy, and we try to actually solve two problems, namely what is language spoken in Troy. Oh, sorry, the second question, we don't have time for that. Yeah, so probably I should substitute the second question like the Nestor Cup. Yeah, the Nestor Cup. So this is probably the second one. So probably we can discuss this word next time. Yeah. Okay, so we want to find the language spoken in Troy. And so first, we checked the names. So names of the son of Hector is called by his father Scamandrion, but others, the real Greeks or the other Greeks called him Astrianata, and Astrianata is a Greek name, but the Scamandrion is not, because we can use this evidence of the river name. The river is called Scamandrion, and also Xanthos, and Xanthos is located in Western Anatolia, right? And then we checked the information of Ilios or Ilion, and actually in Homeric Greek, we find the phrase hypo Ilion several times, and there is no elision, which means there must be a consonant before this E, and then it is very likely a digamma. So it is actually Wilion, okay, Wilion. And for this Wilion, we actually have in Hittite materials the information of Wilusa, and this Wilusa, we also checked the atlas, right? Wait a minute. So we actually checked the atlas. So Wilusa is actually here, and Troy is actually here, and Hattusa is here, and we checked the treaty between Wilusa and the Hittite Empire, Hittite Kingdom, right? And then another interesting information is the king of Wilusa is called Alexandru, and Alexandru is actually the Hittite or the Anatolian version of Alexandros. So probably Paris or the king of Wilusa wanted to have an international name, like probably nowadays the people working in the office, office lady, office man, they usually have an English name. Well, yeah, a lot of different English names, right? And then Paris of Ilion is indeed called Alexandros. So this is another piece of evidence. The king of Wilusa is called Alessandro, and Paris of Ilion is also called Alexandros. And actually, Wilusa belongs to part of these Arzawa areas, and Arzawa actually is the later name of Luvia, and we find it in the Hittite historical text. And then we also checked the several maps of the Western Anatolian, the Ilion area, and based on this information, we know that actually in the ancient times, in the 8th to 6th century BC, this western part of Anatolia must have a very rich culture, because so many poets and philosophers come from this area, right? And then we compare with other areas of the great kingdoms, like the Hatti, the Mycenae, Egypt, and Babylon, and so on. We know that this rich agricultural area really have a very rich culture and rich kingdoms, right? And then this is actually the Luvia, not really kingdom, but this is a Luwian area, and the language, according to the inscriptions, according to the tablets and other textual materials, we know that Luwian is widely used in this area. And this is the reason why the language of Troy is very likely the Luwian language. And then we checked also this economic or the mines. This is, and we know that this area is pretty rich, and this is why that people want to attack this area and to get the money, get the, not really money, get the gold, get the silver from this area, right? Okay. And then we also checked the reconstruction of this area. So this is actually archaeological reconstruction of this area. So this is Troy, and actually we have several layers. And Ilion is actually located on a hill. It's high. It's a royal citadel of this this country or area. And then we compared this with our textual evidence, because Ilios is always called Ilios aİpεινή in all the occurrences at the beginning of all the occurrences of the Homeric verses, always at the beginning, always this description. And then we know that it might come from other areas, might not be a Greek usage, right? It's probably come from the Luwian. And then we checked the Luwian passage, right? So we checked the Luwian, wait a minute. So we checked the Luwian passage here. And this is also, you can also find, wait a minute. Yeah, so we can use this, this website to find the original cuneiform tablets. And then this is indeed description of Wilusa in Luwian, right? Here it is, test here. And then we talk about the cultural aspect. That actually it is described in Little Iliad, that the brother of Hector, or brother of Paris, sorry, brother of Paris married Helen, right? Okay, and then the same tradition, the same custom, we also find it in the, wait a minute, it's a little bit, yeah, we also find it in the Hittite laws, right? So it is attested, it is also recorded in the Hittite laws that if a man has a wife and the man dies, so his brother shall take his widow as his wife, right? So this is also a tradition. This is a very popular tradition in the West, in the Anatolian area, right? And then we talk about the cup of Nectar. And we first read the description of this cup in Iliad, book 11. So this is a very beautiful cup, and it has golden nails and 4 handles, right? And actually these doves, these 2 doves, actually represent the heaven. This is not a Euro cup. This is a very sacred and very important cup, and it has a lot of decoration, the gold and the pigeons, the doves. So the doves actually symbols. This is actually a symbol of the sky, and the golden nail is actually a symbol of the stars. 就是鸽子相当于象征天空嘛，然后这个钉子相当于事实上是类似一个类似星星。然后我们其实对于这个东西也有一些，其实也有一个 we also have actually a Hittite documents of this, but we are not going to read it today. Yeah. So, and then actually and also we checked the Mycenaean tablet. The Mycenaean tablet, we check it here. So this is a symbol for the cup. And then we notice that actually in Luwian, this actually comes from, and the cup is closely related. The cup is closely related to sun, or the sun is closely related to the cup, and we find it actually the evidence in Luwian again. So actually in Luwian, the word for sky is the same word for cup, because this is this symbol. But why they draw, or why they write the sky as like this one, so we can still guess why, because it looks like a sky, right? So, and then this probably the stars, like this is probably a guess, right? And then this word is written as tipas or tapas, and this is actually the origin of the Mycenaean word dipa. Mycenaean word dipa corresponds to Greek word depas. Okay, so this is the whole story today. There's a lot of 不好意思，拖了非常久，就是今天大概有2个小时。Okay, so this is everything for today. I hope you enjoy it and find something interesting from this class. Okay, so I will upload the video to the website. If you are interested, you can check the video again. Okay, you are very welcome, and see you next time. Have a nice weekend. Yeah, have a nice weekend.